Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 7 and we want to present about information leakage and improper error handling. Next. So this is our group members. Muhammad Salahuddin bin Muhammad Rozi, Hisan bin Zahari, Ahmad Naim Syafi, Ahmad Izzuddin and Wan Danish Lokman. Next. So for the introduction, for the computer vulnerability is the flaws in the computer system and environment, vulnerability, exploitation by malicious entity, unsafe system due to weak security. Next. So for the definition, information leakage is excessive information coming from the system to unintended entity. Improper error handling is unfiltered error messages that shows clues on how the system works. So I'll pass to the next group member.
So for the information leakage, information leakage usually stems for whenever the system gave too much unnecessary information. For example, data like technical detail of the software like comments, environment or specific data are unintentionally leaked. So the problem with this information leakage is that it can cause repercussion toward the system as attacker can utilize the sensitive leaked data to exploit the software or even its related hosting network and users, rendering the system to be unusable or unreliable. For the improper error handling becomes a problem whenever message that aid the developer to debug and maintain the software. However, it opens the invitation to malicious entity to infiltrate into the system. A successful attack such as SQL injection can be the byproduct of improper error handling, and it can bring harm to the system and user, thus making the system to vulnerable and to be invulnerable and insecure. Next, I'll pass to Salahuddin.
So for the cause of information leakage and the error handling, first is the exception. So when the exception is occurs, the stack trace is sent back to the user, and it will lead to the potential of the information leakage. When the user asks for the SQL exception, by passing single quotes through user control parameters, it will display some internal details. So for the second cause is configuration. When the improper application or server configuration, some servers come with unnecessary default and configuration files, scripts, and also the web page. It also had unnecessary service enablers such as remote administration functionality. Failures to lock down or harden the server can leave improper set file and directory permissions. So for the last causes is the for the theft or the loss. So loss or theft of a physical hard drive or files. When the company's device that contains sensitive information fall into being stolen by the wrong hands, they can leverage to facilitate security breach or identity theft, leading to the data breach. So next for the effect.
For the effect is there's three, which is first the SQI exception, which means it has too many details in the error page, can be leveraged by the attacker to get more details on the system. Next is the configuration. This can make the server misconfigured, which can bypass the authentications of the server. Finally, is the loss and theft, which is stolen devices may be used as an access point to the company's private network. Next.
So, how to mitigate the information leakage and improper error handling? First, by the awareness. When creating software, the developer should consider that all users are hostile and develop the error handling mechanism. Then, exception handling. To avoid information leak, developers should employ a consistent exception handling design. Then, default error handling. The developers should design a default error handler for all pathway that returns standardized error as a. This will minimize the attack surface that can be exploited through the creation of the error messages. Next is the code review. The developers should conduct a detailed code review of their system error, handling logic, and confirm that it's working properly. The lastly is limiting errors, disabling or limiting the handling of details error in which end user will not be able to see the debug information start the stack tracer and the path information. So that's all for us. Thank you.